Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Very good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our today's webinar. I'm Mohammad Zohrul, IEEE PES Day 2022 Ambassador and Malaysia Section Lead for IEEE PES Day 2022 and a PhD candidate at the University Putra, Malaysia. Will be the moderator for this webinar. This program, entitled Energy Management in Achieving Global Sustainable Development Goals, is being organized by the IEEE Power and Energy Society Malaysia in collaborations with IEEE Young Professionals Malaysia and IEEE Power and Energy Society Young Professionals as part of the IEEE PES Day 2022 celebration. IEEE is the world's largest technical professionals organizations dedicated to advancing technology for the benefit of humanity. IEEE and its members inspires a global community through its highly cited publications, conferences, technology, standards, and professionals and educational activities. For more information, you can visit www.ieee.org. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the main talk, there will be a Q&A session. If you have any questions regarding the presented topic, you can post your questions in the chat box. We will try to answer your questions in the Q&A session. For your kind information, an attendance link will be given during the Q&A sessions for the certificate of participation. In the end, we will take a group photo with our distinguished invited guest speaker. Without further ado, I would like to introduce today's distinguished guest speaker. Mr. Zaini Abdul Wahab is an energy management consultant with over 24 years of experience in energy efficiency and sustainable energy development industry, who specifies in reducing business operational costs for organizations through energy management system. He is also registered electrical energy manager with Energy Commissions, a certified energy auditor, and an accredited energy measurement and verification professionals by Malaysia Associations of Energy Service Companies, and a certified trainer by the Human Resource Development Corporation. Since 1997, Mr. Zaini has been an active practitioner in energy efficiency industry in Malaysia and held various energy-related positions in local and multinational companies and in the government sector. He started his career as an energy consultant engineer before embarking into integrated facilities management services to strengthen his hands-on experiences by applying his energy efficiency knowledge in the daily operations and maintenance activities. So without taking much of your time, let's invite our today's distinguished guest speaker. Mr. Zainal Abdul, the floor is all yours. Can you please unmute yourself?
Okay.
Yeah, now you're audible.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zohrul, for the invitation for me to talk today. Welcome, everyone. Honestly, I'm quite amazed with the participants today. When I see the list, I thought it was some small scale of sharing. But anyway, I hope what I will share today somehow enlighten each of you about energy management from the big perspective, okay, and not just as from engineering perspective. May I share my slide before? Can you allow me to share as well, Mr. Zohrul?
Yeah, right. I will make it.
Can you allow me to share?
And now we can share.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yeah, it's visible.
Right. Okay, first of all, again, thank you very much for the invitation. The topic given to me is about sustainable development, and this my specialty on energy management. So I will talk about how energy management will achieve, we help to achieve the sustainable development goals. Okay. Just quickly, in summary, I've been in the industry for the past almost 24 years. Okay, I started my career as a consultant, as a practitioner, and then I moved to become a regulator. Okay, a regulator with the government. I personally involved in quite numbers of national level programs in Malaysia, some in ASEAN as well, energy efficiency related programs, and some of the programs in Malaysia are still ongoing now, and I still play some role in terms of advisory part, through the various committee. And then about after 8 years, I left the government. Okay, I know I won't be in the government forever. I know I won't be stay that long, but I decided to become on my own, right, from 2012 until now. And 3 years ago, I became a truly independent consultant from 2019, just before the COVID. If you look at my credential, I would say I'm no longer an engineer. Yeah, even though my background was, first degree was mechanical engineering. But after 7 years, I'm no longer an engineer because I'm not really practicing technical part. So I'm more specializing on the strategic part of energy efficiency, which is basically energy management or energy management system. Okay. This is some of my works, in Malaysia so far. Okay, I'm a regular trainer, energy manager, and all that. Okay, if you miss any of my what I shared with you today, you can always go to my YouTube channel. I share a lot of materials. You can watch for free. Okay, YouTube at any time. Okay, so the topic that I would like to talk today. Okay, I was given about 1.5 hours. I will talk about 45 minutes or 1 hour, and then we have a session. Okay, Mr. Zohrul, you can stop me if I overdo my time. Okay, this is somehow basically the summary what I will talk to. First, we look into the energy efficiency, and then we look into the energy management, how it's related to sustainable development, GHG emissions, and also the recent one is about the net zero target. And then we talk about standards. Okay, we talk about energy management, we talk about standard as well. And then we look into how to have a sustainable and smart energy management system for practicing, in practice. And then just some of my sharing today, some are common, okay, but some I share some perspective about Malaysian perspective. But if you talk about energy management, I would say in most countries, are common when it comes to the approach. The only difference is that maybe some country they have their own law, right? They have their own support system and all that. But in general, it's all about sharing the same common element in energy management. Okay, and then we talk about what next for us. Okay, the basic part, okay, before we move on, right? Energy management is, to me, is a part of energy efficiency. So what energy efficiency? Basically, we have a fuel, okay, and we use it for process or equipment. So what is energy efficiency? This is a simple definition, right? It's not an engineering definition. If you use less or same amount of energy, we have to produce better output, okay, by eliminating wastage, okay? So what's the output? Output basically not just energy saving, okay? So it also can be your profitability as a company, okay? You should maintain the profitability or increase. You should maintain the comfort level or increase or better. You should maintain or improve your production value, quality, safety, and so on. And energy management, all right? Energy management is a key element in energy efficiency. Okay, if you talk about become energy efficient, you cannot run away from talking about energy management. You have to manage it somehow, all right? And by doing that, okay, we can reduce greenhouse gas emission. Okay, for countries, for countries like Malaysia, for example, we can reduce the demand for our energy import because Malaysia, basically, for our power generation, we are using, I would say, 40% coal. Okay, and we have gas, but gas is ours. But we imported 100% coal for power generation, for example. And by doing that, right, we lower down the cost of living, businesses, and all that. And of course, the effect will be much wider when it comes to economic impact. All right. So Again here, energy management is a part of energy efficiency. So if you look at the global stage, right, it has been proven energy efficiency can help to reduce energy consumption. Means that energy efficiency can help to ease the pressure to supply more energy or even to get more energy for the global community. So look here, example here. From 2000 to 2016, right, it has been proven that through various energy efficiency effort by different countries, okay, we have improved by 30%. So if you look here on the left figure here, okay, left figure here, okay, the dotted line basically is the energy that we're supposed to use, but through energy efficiency, they managed to bring it down. Okay, this is what we need to have. So because if you keep supplying more energy, okay, demand more energy, we have to use more sources and we are going to pollute more of our environment. Okay, because I would say 80% or almost 90% of, more than the example for Malaysia, more than about 80% of GHG emission coming from energy sector. All right. So as you can see, it's been proven that reduce energy demand, and then how to do it through energy management. All right. And when it comes to the some may ask, we save energy. So where's the money? Actually, it's been proven globally. If you look here, this is latest statistic, by IEEE. All right. Okay. If you look here, investment in energy efficiency in these three sectors, for example, okay, industry and buildings, is huge. Okay, it's huge. Yeah, because last year I read a report from IEEE after they announced about the net zero target by 2050. So globally, we cannot achieve, net zero target by 2050 without energy efficiency. We cannot depend on renewable energy alone. So if you look here, so when it comes to the investment, so investment means economic impact. Okay, if you look here, so it's been proven energy efficiency investment is as big or even more or much bigger than the even RE, investment in renewable energy. So it should be balanced. Okay, so you look here, there are monies, okay, there are investment and even highly potential investment in energy efficiency as well, right? Okay. So look here, this is report from IEEE. This slide will be shared, so I'll give it to the organizer so you can request the organizer to get the slide. And this is our global goals now. Okay, 2015 we have the Paris Agreement. Okay, we have the target to maintain our temperature by 1.5 degrees C. Okay, and then by 2020 we got the climate turning point. Okay, we have to have more money to be invested. Okay, we evaluate the Paris Agreement. Okay, and then 2030. So 2030 is the targets, the deadline for, or the targeted year where all the sustainable development goal, the recommended produced in 2015 to be achieved. So 2015, globally, we know the UN, produced the SDG document, Sustainable Development Goal documents, which the targets, to reach by 2030. They got 17 goals. We look into that later. Okay. And then last year, okay, global community announced another one more target related to this. Okay, a part of that, somehow part of that also embedded in the 17 SDG goals. Okay, which is to achieve the world net zero emission by 2050 or carbon neutrality by 2050. So what we want to do? Basically, want to reach the balance of zero emission to limit the global warming only up to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Okay, so this is the global target now. And sustainable development goals, okay, is somehow in line with the goal to achieve the net zero. Okay, we look into which one, because we got 17 goals. It's not all are involved directly. We talk involved directly with energy. So this is the 17 goals. Okay, we have 17 goals under SDG documents. The targets all by 2030, and then which are related to energy. Okay, so not all, okay, not all directly. So I would say we can talk about energy. We talk about goal number 7. More about the supply of energy, supply of fuel, supply of electricity, and all that. and we want to have more affordable and clean energy supply. That's number 1, related to energy, goal number 7. And then goals number 11. Goal number 11, about having more sustainable cities. Okay, so we have all the green buildings, smart building and all that. Okay, that also involve energy because building powered by energy. And goal number 12. So goal number 12 is the goal where energy management is directly involved. Okay. In one of the goals in the goal number 12, one of the targets in goal number 12 is to achieve so-called sustainability practices. Okay. Energy management, if you do it systematically through energy management system, okay, is one of the sustainability practices. So I would say energy management will help you directly to achieve the targets under goal number 12, which is about responsible consumption and production. Okay, and by doing all these 7, 11, and 12, we are going to help to achieve goal number 13, is about the climate change actions, climate change actions. So all that will give impact into our effort to mitigate the climate change. Okay, so these are about our 17 goals in other SDG. I would say about 4 goals, related to energy. But the one that we are talking here today is about goal number 12. We talk about energy management, which is about a part of the sustainability practices. So now let's look at the global community. Okay, so we announced this, the global community announced this in 2050 last year. So we want to achieve 2050 roadmap, for the net zero for the global energy sector. All right, and then same time ASEAN, they have the targets, when it comes to the global warming, we want to achieve it by 2030, Asia Pacific. All right, and then Japan, for example, they are more advanced, even they have the so-called climate change law. They want to achieve this. They announced this much earlier, okay, somewhere in 2020. Yeah, they have the target, by 2050 as well, to achieve the carbon neutrality, similar to net zero, right? And then European Union, okay, they have the same target by 2050, the long-term strategy to achieve by climate neutral by 2050, right? And then in the recent, last year's COP26, okay, more consensus has been achieved among countries, even businesses. Okay, the focus on COP26, one of the major output of the COP26 is basically businesses. Okay, businesses have bigger responsibility to accelerate transformation to the net zero. So now, companies especially, if they don't look into the energy, how they use energy, all right, they may have problem to even enter certain markets, because energy is one of the biggest contributor to the so-called GHG emission. So somehow this is adopted, in COP26. Yeah, businesses must reassess how they do business. Okay, they must play more important role in achieving the net zero target by 2050. That's why now, if you look at the trends now, if you go any part, I just came back from Middle East, last year, I spent about almost 6 weeks. Okay, so more and more companies now, and during my stay there as well, the government of Saudi Arabia, for example, announced, they allocated, per second, 180 billion, to achieve net zero by 2060. So with that, this means for businesses. So this look here, the whole world is moving towards 2050 net zero targets. Okay, just example here in Malaysia. If you look in Malaysia here, okay, if you look here, any sector from the data 2016, okay, the biggest contributor of GHG emission is energy sector. It's about 80%. Okay, followed by the heat production, 6%, 10%. So it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, so therefore, even in Malaysia, energy sector, we are looking to more on that when it comes to the so-called climate change or net zero initiative. Okay, given example, companies in Malaysia as well, our the national oil company, they got a net zero target. One of the biggest bank, also set the net zero target. All right. Even our utility company, UTNB also, Tenaga Nasional Berhad, okay, they have the target by 2050. Global company BMW, the automotive company, all right, they have the target by 2030. Carbon emission reduction by 40%. Toyota, ASEAN giants, all right, automotive giants as well, targets, have set the targets when it comes to the GHG emission. right? Even oil company, global oil company. Okay, Shell, they have the target by net zero. So net zero means that energy is a very integral part in it, right? You cannot run away from that. Okay, even for Malaysia, we have targeted, we have committed under the 12th Malaysia Plan, okay, 2016 until 2021 until 2016, okay. So we have committed, right? We are reporting to United Nations as well, okay, every 2 years, okay. So we have a target to reduce the GHG emission intensity by 45% by 2030. Okay, 45% with no condition. Used to be with condition. 35% plus 10% with the support from the developed country, but now no more. 45% at no condition, we have to achieve by 45% by 2030. This is Malaysian commitment. Okay, I think most of country also, I would say most countries also are signatory to this. Okay, the INDC. Okay, so you have your own target, you declare your own target, you have to report to the UNFCCC every 2 years. Okay, Malaysia have this target. How to contribute? How to contribute here? So again, okay, we're talking about contributing to this. How to contribute? I think the easiest way or the most direct way is by through energy efficiency. Okay, through how to do it? Through sustainable energy management practices and also energy efficient technologies when they talk about energy. Right? Part of the renewable energy. So this is Malaysian commitment when we come to reporting. Come to reporting here. So you have to report, basically every 2 years, okay, to the UNFCCC. I think most countries also have to report. They have to declare, essentially voluntary declaration, but it means a lot when it comes to the climate change mitigation. All right. Okay. Just for example, so where to focus? Where to focus? Because we cannot look into all sector. It's impossible. For example, in Malaysia, all right, in Malaysia. I think not only in Malaysia, in many countries, okay, these are two sectors that the focus always will be the first to look at. First one is the industrial sector and building sector. Okay, and some countries are very advanced also in the transport sector. Look here, these two industries is the major focus, is supposed to be the major focus area. This is also the major focus for investment. Right? So by doing that, okay, by doing energy efficiency, we can help to achieve this goal number 12. Goal number 12 is because energy management is a very important element in the adoption of the sustainability practices. Okay. So just go back to basic a bit. Just turn back. So what's energy management? Okay. If you look at myself, when I entered this industry, 20 over years ago, I thought energy efficiency is all about technical solution. I think after a few years, after about 7-8 years, I realized that I was wrong. I was surprised, how much non-technical in energy management. Okay, you will be very surprised how much non-technical part of energy management. So to say that energy management is technical is not, all right, because energy management basically is all activities to ensure efficient use of energy, not just technical activities. For example, technical activities, maybe you have to install efficient equipment. But how about procurement activities? If you don't buy efficient equipment, it's nothing technical. Okay. How about training? How about communication? Okay. How about monitoring? Yeah, so energy management, in short, all right, is any activity in any company or organization to ensure efficient use of energy. So so that's why if you go to any organization, if someone tells you, energy is none of my business, they are wrong. Because energy is everyone's business because, excuse me, all of us are energy users. But to do it continuously, you have to do it. Energy management, it cannot be a one-off. It must be ongoing activities. Okay? To do something ongoing, you must refer to a certain way of doing it. Otherwise, you may forget. So therefore, we have to refer to certain standard or guidelines. Yeah, because when you have certain standard or guidelines, we have the systematic way of doing things. And we do it in systematic way, we call it normally energy management system. Okay? When you want to so-called, implement energy management system, you have to you can refer to some standard or guidelines. And in standards, energy management, there are two types of standards. You can refer to standard is about the system to develop to manage the energy. Okay, how exactly covering technical and non-technical. Okay, and also technical standard. For example, what kind of chiller you want to install, what kind of motor you want to install. Okay, so technical standard, management standard, they have global and also standard can be global and also localized for the country. Okay, so here we have international or local standards. And bear in mind, when we talk about standard, we don't talk about certification. We just look at the standard as a guide, as a reference. We don't talk about certification. That one is another story. And by doing energy management through a systematic way, by referring certain standard, you can have the sustainable energy management system where you can achieve your you use certain system, you do it systematically, and you get your result. You get your result and improvement, and then standard or system. A system will involve the people and equipment, because normally it's not difficult to manage equipment. Okay, but the one that often more challenging is to manage the people. That's why by having a system, people can be managed through policy, through SOP, through manual and all that. But equipment, easy to manage. All right. So this is the overview of what's energy management standard and how does it relate to standard, and also what's energy management system. So we're talking about in Malaysia. These are two major standards being referred in Malaysia: IMAS or ISO 2001. Okay, I'll talk about ISO 2001 later. And IMAS basically is the program under ASEAN. Okay, ASEAN, they came up with the so-called ASEAN Energy Management Scheme program, and they got the rating for that: 1 star, 2 star, and 3 star. But I would say, the fundamental of IMAS here is similar to ISO. Okay, because typical management system, okay, typical PDCA cycle then. So doesn't matter which one you adopt. Okay, both will give you the so-called they lead you into the sustainable energy management practices, and also will help you to improve your energy performance. Right? Just to share with you some of the standard you can refer when it comes to the energy management system. Okay, and when it comes to management of energy, these are some standard you can refer in the ISO 2001 family. Okay, number 1 basically the overall system, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 basically the standard you can refer to support, in developing the system based on ISO 2001. Okay, so when you adopt a standard, do you need to get certified? Okay, my answer, not necessarily. Okay, but normally based on research, based on study, okay, if you get certified, you get more saving because it's guaranteed more commitment by everyone, because they got commitment at least once a year will be an audit. Okay, and that's been proven. Okay, been proven that by adopting this standard, you can improve your performance. Okay, so when you improve your energy performance, okay, it's good for the business. It's so good to mitigate the climate change. Okay, climate change impact. Okay, then we help you to achieve the SDG goals, Sustainable Development Goal as well. Okay, so of course, all that contributing to the net zero and all that. Okay, so certification is up to you. Okay, it's not a must, but good to refer to standard when you do energy management. This one I recently found. Okay, this is some facts here. Okay, this is the current status, survey in 2020 by ISO about the adoption of the energy management system based on ISO 2001 globally. If you look here, right? I just put the top 10, okay? Top 10, 9, top 9 and plus others. Okay, if you look here, honestly, I'm not sure why, Germany is taking the lead, but somehow I would say that they are practicing they are really practicing it. That's why not difficult for them to get certified. Okay, so look here, these are, they say global total certificates, okay? The leader basically Germany when it comes to adopt a certificate issued in Germany, okay, and followed by China, UK, and Northern Ireland and others. Okay, this is certificate issued. Okay, valid certificate issued, and this is by sites. If you look here, site is more than the certificate, because sometimes they issue one certificate but applicable for multiple sites. Again, here the leader is still Germany, okay, followed by France. Okay, that's why look here, France, right? Certificate issue only 779, but site is 6,000 over. It's unique, you know, it's quite unique, right? Look, this is a DQ statistic, okay? Which country adopting the most, you know, when it comes to energy management practices, you know, and get certified, you know, they can claim, you know, somehow when they get certified, they are being somehow confirmed by third party that they are really practicing it. Okay, I would say here, but one thing, okay, initially I'm quite surprised, you know, I'm not really surprised. Why Japan is not here? Okay, I think this is my assumption, okay, my assumption, because I did some research on the energy efficiency law in Japan. Okay, I found that, right, even the law in Japan, the requirement of the law itself, you know, they call it energy management standard under the law, all right, is much more detailed than the ISO 2001. So my guess is that, my guess and my personal conclusion, you know, Japan don't need get the Japan companies in Japan, they don't need to get certified by ISO because their law is much more somehow detailed than the ISO 2001. So they are, that's why they are, when it comes to energy efficiency, Japan among one of the leaders, you know, when it comes to this energy efficiency achievement in the world. Okay, that's why when it comes to certification, they are not listed here. Okay, I got their name, but very little. All right. And then this is by sector. If you look here, by sector, all right. Sectors is, I would say, not non-sector. It means that there are many people going for the certification, but definitely it's not specific sector here. Okay, you look here. I just listed 21. Okay, so this is the total. So followed other sectors not known, they have even transport sector, and they're quite active in certified by ISO 2001 when it comes to energy management. Of course, you know, because they are using a lot of energy, mainly they are using a lot of energy for the transport sector. That's why I think energy matters the most for them, because, for example, all the truckings and all that, right? Okay, so it's interesting. Okay, I just did this about a few days back. You know, I found the research, I saw research. In ASEAN, just to give perspective, in ASEAN, okay, the leader is in Thailand. I'm not surprised because I know they are quite advanced, right? And followed, you know, this is a bit, you know, I would say Singapore in the cup side is fairly small, okay, in terms of number, but they started much earlier. But I'm impressed with Indonesia and Vietnam. Okay, I'm not really impressed with my own country, honestly, because we started to talk about NGCC much far earlier than these two countries, but somehow they took a bold action. The result I can see here, right? They are, when it comes to certification, they're adopting more, right? They get better result here. Okay, somehow. Okay, so it's quite, this is interesting, you know, for ASEAN. I'm not surprising leader is Thailand, because they got a very holistic approach, you know, at the national level when it comes to NGCC, also energy management, right? Okay, next I will share with you some, you know, example on, if you look here, when they talk about energy management system adoption of standard, right? We don't talk about big investment. For me, based on many studies and even my own experience, if you adopt a system when it comes to energy management, easily you can, if you're starting from business as usual, easily you can save between 5 to 10% without big investment. Therefore, this result shows that if you look here, all the payback period, you know, are all very, very short. Mainly are very short. Look here. But of course, they get certified. But based on my experience, you know, personally, okay, with my client, they don't do big investment. That normally they can achieve saving easily by adopting a systematic approach, 5 to 10%. It's quite impressive. So my point here, do it systematically. You can get energy cost saving. At the same time, you help to achieve the sustainable development goal as well. Yeah, this is EMAS ASEAN. Okay, this example here, proven. Okay, even systematic approach. Systematic approach give result. And ASEAN for EMAS in Malaysia mainly adopted by the government agencies, basically mainly. Okay, mainly for government agencies. Yes. Okay, just to share with you, we have Malaysia, we have standards, we got Malaysian standard MS 1525, okay. This standard is basically a technical guide, okay, covering this element, architectural, building envelope, lighting, power and distribution, air cooling system, and mechanical ventilation, and also the control system of energy management. Okay, means that if you want to design a building, non-residential building, this can be your good guide if you're in Malaysia. But this standard can be applicable, I think I would say quite common. Anyone can use it, right? So this example, you can look into aircon, if you want to design an aircon system, this is the efficiency requirement. Okay, you can follow the guide. Listen for motors, okay? You want to buy motor, you refer to the standard, which one you're supposed to buy, okay? And then this one for lighting, for example. Okay, lighting is the motor based on capacity. This one for lighting. And this one Malaysian standard, and this one by ASHRAE. Okay, if you have chillers, do your measurement, check your performance. Where are you? So that you can do something. Once you know where you are, okay, where you good, fair, or you need to improvement, or just replace the chiller. Okay, motors. Okay, you can refer to IEEE. All right, because a lot of different when it comes to the performance, when it comes to energy consumption at different efficiency rates, okay, or IE3, IE4, okay, compared to IE2, IE1. Okay, even you can easily see that, see how was the difference between efficient motors and least efficient motors when it comes to cost as well. Okay, example here. And this one is talking about referring to standard. But if you want to, let's say, if you want to energy management, if you want to investigate further, how to save energy, how energy management is part of that, you must save energy. You must get that savings. Okay, so that's indicated that you are managing your energy. So, and in that perspective, you do have to start to do some technical assessment. This is where technical people involved. Okay, to find potential, to investigate potential, you have to conduct a proper technical study. It's what engineers works. So you can do by assessing the system, okay, itself. You can just go the simple one, okay, walk through audit, okay, or you can conduct the detailed energy audit. This is technical study. Okay, from there you can, from energy audit or technical assessment, it can help you to get this. You will know your performance. For example, here, right? Chiller system. From the audit, you know, they confirm the performance of the chiller compared to the rated performance. So the difference here, basically the performance, so-called opportunity for improvement, okay, between chiller and the chiller plant, okay, 2 units, 2 sets. And then from here, we can estimate the savings, the consumption of energy, and the difference of the consumption between the actual and rated, you know, we become the potential to save, or potential to improve the energy performance. Okay, another example here, done in the hospital. Okay, this is from the energy audit. Okay, from technical study, they found this potential, upgrade the chiller, lighting system. They even quantify the saving and how much cost required to invest as well. Okay. All right. And then another example here. This one personally I did the audit. Okay, one of the biggest bank in Malaysia. I audited the so-called the main building, the HQ. This is the potentials. Okay, the payback period, how much they can save in terms of cost, RM, and also the cost for investment. Okay, so this is only can be sourced from the technical study or energy audit. So energy audit, I would say, is a part of activity in the energy management to identify the saving potentials. This is case study, not a big one, just to show to you the simple one. Okay, a factory, okay, they want to move to new office, but they want to maintain the or lower down the bill. They want to move to bigger office, but they want to maintain or lower the bill. Can it be done? Of course, they can. And this is constantly the consultant that engaged was my friend. All right, here. So they want to move to bigger office. All right. So they want to keep the bill same or lower than previous office. What they did? They conduct the study, the audit. Okay. They know that they confirm where they use energy the most. They found out that aircon mainly and the lighting. So what they did? They focus on lighting and aircon. Okay. So what's the result? Not much, but They targeted basically 30%, sorry, 40%, but they achieved 45% reduction of their energy bill. So I just show you a small example here, small saving because it can be done. So energy management, not just for big companies. Okay, so the smaller you are, the easier you can do it, I would say. Okay, because lesser bureaucracy and all that. This is another example, okay, through one of the member of the association. Okay, this one big investment, okay, a commercial building. Basically, they retrofit the chiller. Okay, they invested about 2.3 million Malaysian ringgit. So they improve the performance. This is the setup here. Okay, example here. Okay, they retrofit the whole system to make it more energy efficient. So they save about 1.2 million Malaysian ringgit per year. Okay, and this part, in this particular project, the private sector invested. Okay, not the owner. Okay, they shared the saving. Now the example, this one is the factory. Factory here, quite recent, just completed a project last year. Okay, so invested about 3 million. Okay, they improved the system performance, chiller performance from 1.7 to 0.6. They saved them about 1.2 million a year. Okay, what they do, they look into the chiller system, cooling system, and all that. It's nothing new. It's nothing so so-called sophisticated. All right. This is the setup basically. Okay, they have initially they got several plants throughout the factory areas, all now put into one place. So centralize it. From there, they save about 1.3 million ringgit per year. Okay, somehow. Another example here. Okay, shopping complex. Okay, they look into the cooling system, lighting system, demand control. Another, this one is warehouse. Okay, you can see how much they can save. Okay, and then also here, the bottom here, example of the government building, our Ministry of Finance, they save about 17% per year. Their energy bill. Right? And then the next part, okay, one part of energy management now is you have, when you do all this, right? You do all this energy management. You want to achieve the saving, you achieve the saving. So you must be able to verify your savings. Okay, that's why you have to monitor. Okay, so monitoring of the savings, okay, and find way to improve further require consistent monitoring and reporting. Therefore, here, okay, having IoT will make it easier. This is one of my projects last time, right? So we have the system, all the equipment are linked to the system here. You can monitor here real time. So we can even control from this. And this also can be a data source for the reporting, okay, for the monitoring, for the saving calculation, and so on. So all easier only from the screen of the computer here. Okay, so these are some standard you can refer or guidelines you can refer when it comes to the measurement and verification. Okay, number 1 and 2 you can download from the internet for free. Okay, but number 3 and 4 you have to buy if you want to. Okay, I'm certified as the MND professional under this standard number 4. Okay, the training conducted by another agency, so my association, I go the session and then I get certified for it. Right, so you can pick which one, but the most common adopted globally is number 1. Okay, number 1. The most detailed one, number 3, ASHRAE, is typical ASHRAE, very detailed guidelines. Okay, this is another example. Measurement MNV, just put a submeter before and after, how the MNV. Okay, this one easier. And this is another example by how to do it, by modeling. Okay, through the statistical methods. You can develop this chart. You can compare. You get the baseline. You also can even quantify the saving and measure performance here. This one example from Taisco from Thailand. So there are many ways to measure and verify the saving. Okay, so it depends on which guide you refer here. Okay, normally this one all refer to this whichever guide that you are referring here. Example here, some the work involved in the MNV installations. You have to put all the meters and all that. If you look here, chiller, flow measurement and all that. Okay, this is quite recent, quite recent. Okay, now the next part, this one is talk about all the standard here more on the big equipment, right? Big equipment. But how about the appliances? Okay, therefore globally we have, as a part of energy management, many countries has adopted the so-called their own standard labeling system, okay, for appliances, for equipment. Okay, some country they have banned the import of certain motor standard. You know, for example, if you go to Middle East, most country doesn't allow any more IE2, IE1 or IE2 motors. Only IE3 and above is allowed to be imported to the countries. Okay, so this example. So the impact is huge. You know, look here. Okay, if you look here on the left side, okay, this one basically typical appliances. Okay, some mostly at home, some even in the office, normal office. So this is the impact. You know, the average program compared to the longest program. If you look here, the impact here, how much saving achieved, you know, for average appliances in use. Okay, and then the contribution on the right side. Okay, how much appliances, energy efficient appliances program, rating labeling program help to contribute to the total savings. Okay, if you look in Malaysia has started there, not much, we just started about 5 years back. But look at United States, you know, 60% of the saving come from the appliances through the labeling program. Okay, even in Europe, even Australia. Okay, I think China will overtake, you know, very, very soon. They are very aggressive as well. Okay, so labeling and for labeling and standard, basically, we can't control all consumers. Therefore, this labeling and standard labeling program for country, they try to control the manufacturers. And then, if possible, okay, they control partly, you know, up to the distributors. So with that, so we control what we supply to the consumers. Therefore, we got the label, we got the standard to be followed for importers or manufacturers. Okay, this is how it works. We cannot control consumers, you know, one by one. We control at the source here at the manufacturers. And then this example, labeling for Malaysia for appliances. Okay, we got the first, they call it star rating. Okay, in other countries here, okay, some other countries they have in Japan. Okay, we got some Vietnam as well. Look here. This is some standard, you know, in Malaysia we refer to this standard. So normally we look here, standard, you know, we often refer to the common standard globally, international standard. So somehow in ASEAN, we have harmonized it. So if anyone can test the equipment using the standard, they'll be allowed, you know, to enter the market here as well among ASEAN. I think most markets are adopting the same thing. So we follow, when it comes to testing, we refer to same standards. Okay, and some countries we have ratings. Okay, in Malaysia we have this one. In Malaysia we have a lot of rating we refer to. Okay, but some countries they just refer to only some ratings for their own country rating. For example, say Grimark, you know, in Singapore, you know, KSB in Japan. No, some we got in India, they have their own. But Malaysia, because it's an open market, not really regulated yet. Somehow, we can refer to many ratings, energy management related ratings or tools. Okay, we got the Green Building Index. Okay. Got low carbon cities, you know, all this, okay, a lot. So still voluntary, okay. Even some part of Malaysia adopting KSB from Japan, KSB, all right. So it's open, okay. This is in Malaysia about the rating standards. So for government building in Malaysia, they have this so-called national rating program for government building. They got the star rating from 1 to 5 star based on the building energy intensity, BEI, okay. Okay, Mr. Zohrul.
Yes.
Can we, I think I'm suggesting, can we have a break by allowing to ask 1 or 2 questions? Is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Instead of waiting for the end, you know, is it okay? Any questions?
Yeah, we can take questions.
Yeah, 1 or 2 questions.
Dear participants, if you have any questions, you can raise your hand. I will unmute yourself. You can ask directly your questions.
Anyone?
Is there anyone want to ask any questions? Please raise your hand.
Anyone? Anything in the chat box?
Yeah, Mr. Mohammad, you can unmute yourself.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Sir, I just want to ask one question.
Please.
Regarding the energy management for individual, let's say, is there any training program from your organization? I mean, the technical program.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. So there are quite numbers. Okay, I can suggest you some. Okay, you can refer. Some in Malaysia, some from organized by even international community, international entities. Okay, so there are the training program you can attend various type. One, maybe you go to certain technical area you want to focus, or some training program you can go into your own competency. For example, energy managers, energy auditors, M&V specialists, and all that. So it depends which one you want to get. And all these, they got their own certificate. Some they just come for training, they get their own certificate. Some come with the competency certificate. So there are plenty. Not only in Malaysia, plenty, out there. For example, the common one, AEE, the American Association of Energy Engineers. AEE is quite globally recognized, Of course, it's quite expensive, but globally recognized. All right. In Malaysia, there are several. I can share with you. All right, no problem. Quite numbers you can look into that. In fact, if you go to one of my YouTube channel, okay, I got one video about training for energy managers. Okay, I talk about what kind of training competency you can go for as energy managers, for example. Okay, so I hope that answered the question, sir.
All right, so now I'll go to Umar Abu Bakar.
Yes.
Yeah, you can unmute yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Zohrul. Thank you, the presenter, for excellent presentation. My question tells us renewable energy in achieving sustainable energy. One of the outcomes of the COP26, attention should be shifted towards renewable energy sector in achieving the sustainable development goal energy. However, due to the high investment costs in renewable energy and lack of an efficiency problem that has to do with renewable energy, how do you think it will be best? It will bring a best solution in solving the energy efficiency problem and also the investment cost that is associated with renewable energy in achieving the sustainable development goal. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Omar, for the question. Very good questions. Yes, it's been acknowledged, right? One of the somehow major way to achieve the SDG, right? Basically, by adopting more renewable energy. Yes, but again, you mentioned just now, it's very costly. But somehow, even though very costly, but over the years, the cost is getting much lower. But still, very costly, but require big investment. That, I think when it comes to RE, I would say the market will respond to that accordingly. And I think that's happening everywhere now. Because the demand is there, the wave also, somehow investment is flooding to RE now. If you go to any bank in the world now, they're happy to fund RE program because it's more straightforward, easy to understand. The business model very straightforward, and but require big capital. That's why they want for big players, people with deep pocket. All right, that's happening now. Even, for example, in Malaysia, 20 years ago, the 1 kilowatt peak of solar PV panel cost us about 50,000. Now it costs us about less than 3,000 ringgit. And I will install mine next month. My house cost me less than 10,000 to get 2 kilowatt peak. Simple as that. But to start with, to answer that question, yes, the ideal approach of sustainable energy development is first start with the minimizing wastage. The fundamental. That's why we talk about systematic approach, because more people were involved. Once you reach that, that one basically low and no cost. Either as individual, company, or small or big. No low cost, systematic approach. So the practices. Second, once you have achieved that 5 to 10%, and then you can see the benefit, right? You go next level, you start to talk about investing in the energy efficient technologies. You start to buy efficient chiller, efficient lighting system, talk about money. And you get more saving. You can achieve up to, I would say, 20 to 30%. All right? And then next level, when you have reached that, you have become practice, you use the most efficient technologies. Next part, you start to think about the alternative source of energy supply, and then we talk about RE. Because to me, this must, RE and EE must come together, because RE is about supplying energy. If you keep supplying energy, okay, but you're still wasting it, you keep supplying energy, just like leaking water in the tank. So the approach, either as an individual, as a company, big or small, start with energy management, energy efficiency. All right, and then from there, you take it up there. But as a country level, this requires much bigger discussion, because I know it's not easy. You must come with a policy, all right, regulatory framework, financial support, some kind of facilitation, a lot of things. That one I have to take another half day to talk about it. But that's supposed to be the way lah. And most country, you can see country like Japan, example, Singapore, all right, even go to Germany, they are doing that. So this example, you can see there are real life example, even Denmark, the only net zero country, in the world now, Denmark. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. So can we continue with my sharing?
Yeah. There's another one that I want to ask questions.
Okay, I take another one more. Yes.
Please go ahead, Dr. Haider.
Yes, please.
Thank you for the sharing for this useful information. My question is focusing on the pricing rate and how is affect the energy management. For example, for Malaysian, is they travel to time of use for now, or still they use block of tariff?
Can you repeat the question? I can't hear you that, can you make loud?
Okay, I can repeat. I just asked about the effect of a pricing scheme or pricing rating for energy management. And for Malaysia, is they travel to time of use or other tariff, or still they use block of tariff?
Okay, thank you for the question. In Malaysia, they have introduced the off-peak. Last time they started with the peak and off-peak tariff. Now, I think since 2016, they started to introduce the ETOU as well. So it's being utilized now. It's happening. And industry players are now enjoying that. That's one way. This is one way of the utility company try to manage the demand better. They try to flatten demand. It's already available now. When it comes to tariff, relatively, in Malaysia, tariff is still relatively low, okay? But despite that low tariff in Malaysia, the potential is still enormous. The payback is still very, very attractive. The only thing in Malaysia now, we don't have that national level policy yet. That's all. That's I've been still, pursuing with my fellow NGOs now. That's the only missing link now, because we don't have that the national level policy like Thailand, Indonesia, and all that, right? It's difficult for any company, ministry to have long-term plan with the guaranteed so-called financial assistance and all that. For sector, they need to have something that certain, when it comes to the goals, when it comes to NGCC. That's why, that's what we're lacking now. I think despite the low tariff in Malaysia, I would say the potential is still very, very attractive. That's why more and more companies now coming here, capitalizing on it, because we also have, I share later, we have quite a very attractive fiscal incentive as well, tax exemption as well. Okay, thank you. I think I have to continue. Can you go straight to your question, please?
Can you please be concise to your question?
Yes. My question is, I would like to know from where I can get a certificate in energy efficiency and auditing. This is my question.
Okay, thank you very much.
Only.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Basilio, right? Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So if you want to become energy auditor, okay, then one of the global certificate you can look at by AEE, American Engineers, Energy Engineers, AEE. You can Google AEE. They issue a global certificate, but it costs about, if I'm not mistaken, about $9,000 to get to attend, sit for the exam. So if you can go to any other independent, agency, body that issue the similar certificate. For example, in Malaysia, they got some, by the NGOs, by the industry association and all that. And some country, they have their own law to issue that certificate for energy auditor as well. So it's quite numbers of options you can go. Okay, the one that globally used normally, I would say by the US, okay, Association of the Energy Engineers from USA, the common one for energy auditor. And they want also recognize, if you go to Middle East, they already recognized from AE, energy manager, MNV, and also energy auditor. So I hope that answered the questions. Okay, so may I continue, Mr. Zohrul?
Yeah, you can continue now.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much for everyone for the very interactive session. So let me continue with my sharing, friends. So I hope we have enough time. So before this, I talked about the component of that. Okay, the standard, technical standard, management verification, and all that. Okay, and now I talk about how to have a sustainable system, because when you have an asset, right? Most of us not involved in the design stage. We just the user. We have to pay the bill. Okay, so when you paying the bill, energy bill change because tariff change. Okay, because tariff change due to the global energy market prices. Because most countries, okay, the energy, electricity, for example, come from the fossil fuel. Most countries, including Malaysia. Therefore, because by not having a system, okay, you may not know your inefficiency. So you don't know have the indicator, you have the proper indicator, you don't know where you are. Am I efficient or not? You just pay the bill every month. So when you don't know where you are when it comes to your energy performance, you don't act, so that you lose opportunity for improve. As a result of that, you pay your energy expenditure, more than what it's supposed to be. And that will affect your profitability for company. If not good. And for Malaysia, if that happen, Malaysia of course have to look for more energy supply. And not only Malaysia, in any country. Okay? And mainly company that often very good when it comes to energy management, they have these 5 elements. First one, they have very good awareness from all levels of the personnel, from the top to the bottom. And they got the long-term and short-term plan energy, not just a project base. Okay? And the number 3, they collect data, they use it. They receive the bill, they analyze it. They make a trend. They don't just pay the bill. They use it. They get data, they process, they use it to manage energy. And then energy management, not just projects or technical activities. It becomes a part of their business activities. For example, if they do the budget, yearly budget, they do look into the potential of using the more energy efficient system. So they put some investment in place. Last one, they have the good leadership through even the top management or through the energy management team in the company. These are 5 key so-called success factor of companies in energy management. Okay, and then this is some example global company that have been proven through a systematic approach, through the high level commitment. This company is quite common, it, diversity. Okay, you see the result there. They pledge, investment. Then they save 32 million. They achieve 25% saving, 3M. Okay, they achieve their goals, 22%, 2009. You also control. All right, they made the global target, from energy management. Okay, and then Marriott. All right, this is example of the proven. Okay, proven example that if you do things systematically, you get the result. Okay, you get what you want to get. And along the way, you help to achieve the SDGs. Okay, and then because in the company, when you want to be successful when it comes to energy management, first you must have the top management commitment. Secondly, you must be done holistically, systematically, and also sustainable. And finally, this is very important. The result must be measurable and visible. Because in a company, you have to involve so many people to implement a system. Therefore, you need to have the top management commitment. That's why everything must be holistic, not just a job of the engineers. If you look here, engineers is the bottom of the command of change, the chain of command here. All right, so most engineers cannot make decision. They're just basically workers. So that's why for successful energy management system, they must have the top management commitment. It must be holistic, and the result must be measurable and also visible, so that people can see. This is common approach, energy management system approach based on the ISO P2001. Okay, we look here based on 2001. We look here. All right. It's nothing new here. Okay, just like typical management system, management commitment policy. The difference is that here in planning, and you operate the system and have to perform the evaluation of the performance, and then all back to the management for the management review. All right. So I don't know why my slide's hanging here. Sorry, my slide hanging. Hold on. All right, then. Sorry, my slide hang. Hold on. Excuse me. My slide hanging.
We can close and start again.
Okay, I know. I just. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yeah, it's visible.
Nothing new. All right. So this is example of if you go to the ISO 1, this is the common PDCA cycle for energy management system. Nothing new. This is the normal process of management system. Okay. And here we talk about energy. Therefore, involve two level, management and the operations. Okay. So energy managers is the one that become the bridge between the two parties, you know, management and the operations. So how to make energy management system, you know, to be implemented much easier way? So by adopting IoT, because it's been proven, okay? Because if you want to have an ongoing, you know, energy management something ongoing, you must do it systematic way, and then you have to make sure all be monitored. Therefore, the adoption of IoT or Internet of Things, is something will help a lot when it comes to the sustainability of the management system of the energy, because you know. It can help to reduce business costs. Okay, then bear in mind we are more now, the world getting more and more digitalized. So by adopting all this, right, it help you for us to meet the future requirement as well. Okay, and then meet up the more and more strict legal requirement. And then most country, now some country, even in Malaysia now, they are more moving towards more, they call it smart grid, smart system. All the user now to be connected into the grid, smart, all digitalized. So this is why we need to start to look into these IoT features in the management system. For example, in Malaysia now, we are very aggressive now moving towards the smart grid. Okay, smart grid by 2026, you know, all smart meters, you know, will be completed installation. So all home will be connected to the grid, you know, all can be monitored real time, no more meter readers for your bill. All right, all that will happen very soon. No, won't be that long. Now 2022. All right, so. And then this is the future of the electricity system in most developing country, the high-end one. Look here, okay. All the future, you know, will be all connected. You know, from the supply here, ada hydro, ada coal power plant, ada gas power plant, ada RE, ada solar. Okay, all connected to the. All can be monitored online, can be controlled online, can be managed online. Okay, this is the future. All are smart, all are digitalized. All right, so this is the way forward. And by having this, right, having this will help you to modernize your management system and achieve your target. All right, and then you can get more data from that, and then you can adopt this now cloud-based system and all that. All right, it's nothing new now. It's things, but they're happening very fast now because it's been forecasted. You know, even the investment in IoT, you know, worldwide bigger and bigger every single year. Okay, yeah, this report, you know, written in 2015. They talk about billions US dollar, billion USD already. So even now it's bigger now. So I would say now I would like to highlight three major why we have to adopt, you know, IoT in the energy management. Okay, the first one, we make your system more efficient. Why? For example, currently we have BMS, right? BMS, building management system. What we do, monitor, minimum control. So we IoT. Okay, with IoT, we can do more. We have a sensor, we collect data, we analyze data, and then we can somehow do some analytics, and then we can customize it, and then we can make faster decisions. And all can be done real time. Because BMS, not all real time. Some you have to go back to the building to look into the data. Okay, but IoT, the analytical parts. That's why faster decision can be made. You can decide to switch off your aircon from Japan, even though your plant may be in Malaysia. Okay, you can fine tune your chiller performance from US, even though your plant in Malaysia, something like that. Because you got all the process data through IoT. Okay, this example, one of my projects, right? This one we monitor for our office last time. Okay, we can monitor the kilowatt per ton of every chiller. Okay, and we can optimize that from the office through our programming. Okay, so if you're talking about BMS, basic, IoT, we analyze, you can do instant response. All right, and then you can optimize your energy consumption. And then you can, by doing this, they help you to reduce your bill because they give you more holistic view of the aspect of consumption, you know, very granular. Okay, all right. So for example, for BMS, just look to major equipment, but for IoT, you can go to very tiny, small equipment if you want to. And then the best part, you can get better response when it comes to the information, process information, and you can make faster decision. You can respond even to the tariff change, you know, easily. All right. Number 3, all right. I say example, you asked just now about ATOU. This is ATOU in Malaysia now. You got the different band of rate, you know, for different period. Used to be only peak and off peak. Now we got the mid peak, you know, and all that. So example here. And then finally, the best part, you get real-time data, and then we process data real-time, and it can react quickly, so that we can quickly, instantly save energy costs. That's why this is one of the 3 major benefits, okay, in the adopting IoT in energy management. And there's some benefits, more benefits, real-time data, you can do energy accounting, you can do benchmarking, you can monitor performance, you can measure performance, you can produce report, you know, auto-generated, no more manual, all right? You can improve your operation maintenance, and of course, you also can customize it. Customize to fit your particular plant, system, or even equipment up to that extent. I know it because I've done it, all right? And this is common, you know, common example, right? You can look into the power, cooling system, water system, gas, even you can integrate with the renewable energy system as well with the IoT. As example, what you can get, you know, by having the so-called smart system, you get all data on the dashboard, real-time process data, and quickly you can make decision. Example here, right? And then just to share with you, and I think this is towards the end of my sharing today, all right? To share with you some of the, I think some country even much more advanced than this. Okay, I think most countries, we're talking about Thailand, they're much more advanced, right? Indonesia, Vietnam, and talking ASEAN, of course, Japan, you know, Korea, China, right? Europe, you know, they are very advanced. Okay, but I would say even what Malaysia has been doing now is nothing. We don't really reinvent the wheel. There are a lot of proven programs, you know, all over the world. You can adopt or emulate. You can customize according to your country's requirement. Okay, for example, in Malaysia, we got the action plan. Okay, the document that will lead us, you know, supposed to achieve first by 2025, 8% of reduction of energy. Okay, by 2025 through these 5 major initiatives, you know, rating 5-star rated for equipment, maps, okay, energy audit, energy management in building industrial facility. We are promoting cogeneration. Okay, also we focus on the energy efficient building designs. Okay, this we hope can achieve by 2025 by 8%, but to me, still not ambitious. Okay, it's still very so-called conservative, but and we know that we can see more. And we have the law now, the minimum law, they call this law, Efficient Management of Vertical Irrigation 2008, you know, IEEE 2008, okay, for 2018, 2008, okay. So we have about almost 2,000 companies have to comply to regulation. Okay, some have complied, some still in the midst of complying. Okay, the government is more, these are the biggest user of energy in Malaysia. I'm talking about only electrical energy because this law only covering electrical energy. But they are, I would say, this almost 2,000 companies, I would say they are representing about 80% of total electrical energy in Malaysia. Even though just about almost 2,000. They are representing almost, I would say, almost 80% of total electrical energy in Malaysia, covering industrial and commercial buildings. Okay, and then we have the energy managers. Okay, we help to these companies, this installation, to comply to these regulations. Okay, and then now government is drafting the new act. With this after the new act come out later, this regulation will be no more valid. It will be more comprehensive act. Okay, they call it. But this year we're drafting, supposed to be to the parliament this year. Okay, hopefully next 2 years fully enforced. They call it EE Conservation Act. All right. I involved in the drafting of this personally, from 2018. So by having the law, the new law, this is what you can expect. Will be more management, more reporting, more guides on energy management for Malaysia. Okay, this is what being promised. Come out from this act later. Okay. Okay, and then government also has introduced the grant for energy audit. Good. Under the Malaysia Plan, 12 Malaysia Plan, government has given the grant for the companies that affected under this regulation. This one, right? These companies, they can apply for this grant for energy audit. Okay, and the audit grant is conditional. They must achieve certain saving, and then after that, or they have to pay back the grant to the government. So this one is something that very, very good response so far. That's why they got the 2.0 version for this Malaysia Plan. And then we got a very good incentive as well. Okay, so we will come with the carrot here. You see the carrot, sorry, this is the stick. The law is the stick. Okay, but at the same time, government is giving the carrot. Okay, this is the grant, the carrot, 1 carrot, okay, audit grant. And you got some very attractive incentive. Tax exemption, investment tax allowance, import tax exemptions, income tax, exemption and all that. Okay, through this. Okay, for companies that not only energy efficiency project, also green project, including renewable energy. So if you buy equipment, you can get tax exemption. Okay, if you invest, retrofitting your building become more green building, you can get tax exemption as well. So very, very good. Okay, this is one way how we can attract investment to the country, same time promoting the energy efficiency industry for the country. That will bring investment coming. Okay, this one not new. I think many countries has done this as well. We got some loans, for the SME, SMIs, this is recently launched for SMEs. If you go for green or efficient project, they can apply for this particular very low interest, only 5% per year. Okay, per annum, 5%, very low. Commercially now about 8 to 9% commercially, but now very low. And they got another loan here by the MDV, a government-owned company, for the big projects, for ESCO in Malaysia to get a loan. All right. Then, so now we are towards the end here. So this is one example. Okay, if you have a proper, let's say as a company, if you have a proper system, you refer to certain standard to do your things, to manage your energy. This example, you get a commitment for the top management, you do it holistically, systematic way, and you can see the result. You can measure the result, you can verify the result. It's all visible. You look here, example of factory, actually real case study, one of my client. Okay, if you look here, the trend for 5 years, right, 7 years, no reduction, but they are efficient. There's no reduction of energy because of they keep expanding the facility. But by having a system that establish the proper indicator, proper baseline, okay, they can establish they can monitor the performance. You look here, the baseline is on the orange color, the actual actually on the blue color. So they are all the time very, very efficient because the actual energy being used always lower than the baseline. How to do it? Through energy management system. Because by having an energy management system, they develop the proper baseline, proper indicator for the facility, for the company, for the plant. And on top of that, okay, they can see, even though from the bill they cannot see the reduction, but actually the improvement can be seen from the analysis here. They call it QSM analysis. You can continue this analysis. It can help you to quantify your accumulated saving from every project that you implemented in the facility. So this is an example of holistic and energy management system approach. Okay, and then you can measure and result are visible. You can show to the management. Okay, and all this calculated saving, kilowatt hour, for example, you can convert into CO2 emission amount that you have saved or you have avoided to release to the environment. You have to refer to your own country conversion factor. All right. And then this example, by doing it through the IoT, or in one page, one screen here, or be monitored from here. Okay, so IoT will make energy management system much easier, especially when it comes to the monitoring, reporting, and showing your actual result of performance. Okay, so again, okay, so what are the key effective way for sustainable energy management to achieve the SDGs? First, again, top management commitment. Your energy management will be holistic and sustainable, and your result must be measurable and also visible. Okay, so the conclusion, okay, to wrap up my session today, okay, energy management not just a project of engineers. It needs to be seen, okay, as one of the strategic business activities, not just as support service or legal compliant activities. Okay, energy management, one of the key integrated elements in the sustainability practices. Okay, they can help you to improve your performance, sustain or improve your profitability, and achieving your goals in the SDG and also the GHG emission reduction. All right, so with that, I end the session, and now we can open to the, if you have a few more minutes, I leave it to the host for the Q&A session.
All right, thank you so much for sharing all the insights and valuable information about the energy management. So now we can take some questions. So, Dr. Haidar, you can go ahead, but please be concise. Don't say anything, any vote of thanks. Just be concise to the questions. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Thank you so much. My question about the challenges. If you hear my sound.
Yeah, you're clear. You can go ahead.
Yes. My question just about the challenges for applying the IoT for smart grid. You know, smart grid can use the IoT, but still there is a lot of challenges, such as big data, also the demand request for the peak time or peak load. So there is, I mean, there is a lot of challenges. Is there any solutions can suggest for that?
Yeah, so that's why. Thank you very much for the very good question. Okay, so actually, when it comes to the smart grid, it requires a very carefully planned program. It's not short term. Okay, because it involves there are several major stakeholders. You know, first the energy supplier, all right, and then the energy user, actually the demand side, and then the policy makers. All these, you know, must sit down and work together. This is how when Malaysia started, it's the same process. So it's because initially all are somehow, when it comes to information sharing, you know, it's quite sensitive, right? So very sensitive. Knowing the Malaysian culture, for example, last time, right? Businesses are, they even though for us it's nothing confidential, but for them it's very sensitive issues. Even there was a time even difficult even to know basic information when it comes to even the consumption data. But that's why the challenge basically to get all the stakeholders sit down, look in the common ground, how this benefit them, and at what stage you should start. Yeah, because even in Malaysia, when it started, you know, huge resistance from even the domestic users. So after we changed the meter from the analog meter to smart meter, right, digital meter, suddenly they claim their bill getting higher. It was a huge cry, you know, throughout the country, become national issues. But after some kind of, you know, mitigation, awareness, education, they start to understand the benefit of that. No issue. That's why, again, of course, I can agree with you, huge challenge. But as a country, to what scale you need to start, you have to look at your infrastructure, all right? Your current demand kind of requirement, demand kind of education level and all that. So yes, agree with you, but it must be carefully planned. It's not a short term, must be a long term and carefully planned program. Normally it's to be a smart grid, normally it's national level program, and then you can start to adopt all that. Okay, the basic feature of smart grid somehow basically smart grid is really the meters, digital meters. Okay, the basic requirement. So from there you can get all the data. All right. So and then look into I think the utility company that I would say they are ready. But the challenge now to get the government who look into the interest of the people, look into the interest of the industry. There are always some area they got some kind of normally misunderstanding. But overall, I would say smart grid is the way forward. You cannot either you go with it, or you'll be left behind. Everything later all will be somehow connected online. But of course, the issue of security and all that have to address as well. So I hope that answered the question. It's a very big question, but I hope I can answer. Enlighten you a bit, yes.
All right, thank you. So there is one question from Atifa. You can unmute yourself and please go ahead.
Hello. I'm a student of social innovation, and I just want to know that as small and medium enterprises are the major income contributor of any economy, I just want to ask that is there any support system for small and medium enterprises from your organization, or any kind of merger for their support from government? Because small and medium enterprises, they don't have the huge budget to revamp their renewable energy or any kind of things in the system other than the lending facility. Please share. Thank you.
Thank you, Atifa, for the question. When it comes to the normally for the SME, SMI, right? You are right. Okay, they are focusing on the day-to-day operation. It's hardly to get them to allocate people into the energy. Understood? That one very true. Therefore, normally what we do, right? Even I involved in one program, 5-year program with United Nations, last time from Malaysia, targeting this. We are more on the building the capacity. Okay, help them to build the capacity. Okay, so that they got some 1 or 2 personnel, right? Some basic knowledge on how to adopt that in their operation. Along the way, we support with with some kind of fundings, low interest kind of funding. That we ease them a lot. Because they wanted to go for it, but their lack of resources somehow hamper their effort. They want it's not only in Malaysia, in any part of the world, similar. Therefore, the best, that's why even many countries, they got a specialized so-called capacity building program looking into these people. And then they got a group of experts who can go some kind of coaching them. They go for site visit, go some kind of, demonstration project. They see, because these people normally, they see it, they can do it. Okay, then they cannot go to 1 week training, they cannot leave the plant for 1 week, difficult. But, we go to them, normally they got a roadshow, right, and all that. Sometimes come with the so-called financial, so-called credit facilities. They need that. Okay, another one more thing, the bank. Okay, for when it comes to the support program, the bank must somehow customize their portfolio to cater this particular particular market. They cannot apply the common general kind of conditions. That's why for example in Thailand, they got their own specialized fund from the government directly, low interest. All right, this is common. Okay, so again, first capacity building, second customized so-called credit facilities, the ongoing some facilitation from the government somehow. My organization normally supporting various programs, especially in the capacity building. We got some kind of training, training directly on how to do the basic assessment, right? What to do at motor, lighting. So I hope that answered your question, Atifa. Right.
Thank you.
All right, so I think that's all. Is there any questions from participants? Okay, so for your kind information, I have already posted the attendance link, so please don't forget to fill it up.
So may I have a few words, Mr. Zohrul? Okay.
Can I take a group photo?
So maybe can I say a few words? I would like to thank, again, thank you to the organizer. Thank you to Mr. Zohrul for the organizer, and thank you to all, okay, for listening to me. I will share the slide with the organizer. You can get it from Mr. Zohrul, the slide, don't worry. Okay, thank you very much, everyone.
All right, thank you so much. So please, can you switch on your camera? Let's take on group photo. This program entitled Energy Management in Achieving Global Sustainable Development Goals is being organized by the IEEE Power and Energy Society, PES Malaysia, in collaborations with IEEE Young Professionals Malaysia and IEEE Power and Energy Society Young Professionals as part of the IEEE PES Day 2022 celebrations. So I have already posted the attendance link, so please don't forget to fill it up, because the certificate of participations will be given based on the attendance form. All right, so I will take on group photo. All right, so I'll be counting from 3 to 1. So please prepare yourself. All right, so here we go. 3, 2, 1. Please keep smiling. We have 3 pages. Second page. Then last one. All right, thank you. So I have already captured the beautiful smiles. So please don't forget to fill it up, the attendance form. So on behalf of the organizing committee, once again, I would like to thank Mr. Zaini Abdul Wahab for sharing all the valuable insights about energy management and answering all the questions. We also would like to thank you all the participants for actively participating in this webinar. Just a quick reminder once again for the participants, the certificate of participations will be given based on the attendance form. So the attendance link has already been posted in the chat box. So with that, we can conclude our session here. And we're extremely sorry if there is any technical difficulties. And we would like to see you again to our next event. Okay. So thank you so much.
Take care, everyone.
See you again.
Bye.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.